All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Sports Hype. We're going to be talking about the divisional rounds, right? What happened there? How did the Ravens win, right? How did, the Bills lose once again? They, choke artists. Bills Mafia's choking, right? So then we also got in the NFC, right? We got ourselves 49ers went up and beat Green Bay, but close. It was a close game. And then we also got ourselves how the
Detroit Lions.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, the Detroit Lions and how they beat the Bucks. Then we're going to be moving on to conference, championships. What our predictions are. Hopefully they're right. We only got four teams left. We got a 50-50 chance of, making it right. Then finally, we got Nick Saya on this podcast talking about what happened to his Miami Dolphins. Adrian Griffin got fired. What does that mean for Giannis? And now we're going to be talking about, trade season, in the NBA, Scary Terry to Miami to MIA. What does that mean? Are they contenders now? I don't know. Maybe the Heat fan knows. And then we're also going to be talking about just a real quick thing. JoJo hit 70 points last night. First player to have 70, 15, and 5. So congratulations to him, right, on a big night. And obviously, Karl Anthony Towns had a 60-point game, but nobody cares because they lost. So let's
Yeah.
get right into it.
Yes, sir. I'm thinking we're going to start with say his thoughts on Miami since me and Gio did get into our thoughts about our respective teams. So let's hear Nick say his thoughts and let him get some anger out if there is any built up anger in there.
Uh, you know, it's the Dolphin cycle. My hopes up, disappoint. I'm gonna throw a tray at the wall. Um, cool. We made the playoffs. Did that last year. Now I just need a win. Tua is the answer, though. I need people to stop saying Tua is not the answer. He's an elite quarterback, MVP like quarterback, and yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I mean, Tua didn't play great, but the entire team really didn't play great. It can't just be all on Tua.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Kansas City was just bad.
Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, Mahomes in the playoffs is like LeBron James in the playoffs, basically.
Yep.
But Gio, what do you think?
I mean, we already said what we thought. It goes back to yes, I do think Tua was the right man for the job for the Dolphins. Comes up to can he play in the cold? Now, I have a player in mind that practiced in the cold, and now he's a champion. His name is Jamal Murray. Made sure that he could play when he has cold hands. Made sure that no matter what the circumstance was, he would not choke himself. He would be able to, be ready for any moment that, occurred. And he was, and that's what showed out in the finals in the NBA last year. Is he showed out and he won himself and his team the finals. So now that has to go with, I'm not saying Tua's got to play in the cold all the time. I'm saying how can we simulate Tua Tagovailoa playing in the cold weather because he's going to have to at a certain point in time in the playoffs, whether that's the Bills and Buffalo, whether that's Kansas City, whether that he's got to go north sometime in the playoffs, and it's going to be cold, so he's got to learn how to play in the cold weather, and that showed in the previous game where he lost because he didn't really know how to play in the cold.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that also is mainly on coaching. The coaches got to prepare them better. And you can prepare for the cold by, making it cold at practice.
You for sure can, right? At a certain point, but it's also if you want to be a champion, it's yourself too. Tua Tagovailoa wants to be a champion. He has to take the next step and make sure that he knows he's ready for whatever happens, right? And yeah, you can blame it on coaching, but really, if Tua Tagovailoa wants to be ready for any circumstance, he's got to prepare himself and be ready for any circumstance.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think Tua is the guy. I mean, the Dolphins aren't going to get
Yeah,
a better quarterback than Tua for themselves.
I mean, if they get rid of Tua, any team that picks him up will be the happiest team for a long time because he is going to be a great player in this game for a very long time.
For sure.
So we won't have to worry about the cold next year.
Why's that? You getting the one seed?
Yep. and undefeated.
But even then, let's just think about it. Who's hosting the Super Bowl next year?
That's a good question.
Who?
No, is it Las Vegas?
No, that's this year.
That's this year?
Yeah.
It's not Atlanta. That was 2 years ago, right? Not Atlanta, but
Uh,
Arizona.
It's gonna be somewhere warm, like warm.
Is it gonna be warm?
Not tripping about the Super Bowl next year.
it's gonna be in New Orleans next year.
So he should be fine for the most part. I'm
Hmm.
just saying if he's got to play in New York at some point in time in the Super Bowl, like you can't just let the cold dictate whether or not you play well, right? You can't let the arena or wherever you play, if you're a great player and you want to be the best player, you have to play anywhere, right? And so that really shows like if Tua wins the Super Bowl, go ahead, win the Super Bowl in the warm weather. But we all still know you can't play in the cold.
Yeah, but it's up to Tua. If he doesn't have to play in the cold, then he doesn't have to play in the cold. He has to make sure that he solidifies he doesn't have to play in the cold, and he wasn't able to do that towards the back end of the season.
He will never be considered the best player ever, no matter how many Super Bowls he wins, if he can't play in the cold.
I think
I don't
there's an
care if he wins
argument for
eight,
that. I don't think people would look at where he won them. I think they just say, "Oh, he won them."
but he still couldn't play in the cold. Look, if you look at Tom Brady, he could play in the cold and the warm. He won a Super Bowl for two different teams.
Listen, when Tua's holding up 12 rings, you can't talk about the cold in terms of being the GOAT. He's just gonna pass Bill Russell and we'll be all good.
If he has 12 rings, he would have to play in the cold at some point in time.
And he'll win it.
And I'm just saying, if he can't play in the cold, how can he be considered one of the greats?
His 12 rings, 6 MVPs.
Well, you know, Tua Tagovailoa still got plenty of time left in his career. I think can, manage to play in the cold at some point in time and learn how to do that. So I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was his first career playoff game too, so we
Right.
got to give him a little bit of leeway.
True.
But
On the bigger and better. You feel me?
hey, all our teams disappointed us. You're not alone, Saya.
I mean, I'm happy with the fight we had. I don't
Yeah,
really
I mean, yeah, Steelers, you don't have to be really upset, to be honest.
I'd be just I know I'd be disappointed. I know this wasn't part of our, discussion plan. If we do not land Russell Wilson, I'll be the most disappointed fan in the entire, fan base.
Well, I think you will be disappointed because I don't think he's going there, but we'll see.
He's that They lead the odds in landing Russell Wilson.
I think he's going to be traded before they cut him, in my opinion. That's just me, though.
I mean, yeah, that could work out, but he have to have a say so.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he wants to be in Denver right now, so I think he'd say so anywhere as long as it's a contender.
But then if he's cut still, he doesn't like the franchise. He leaves the franchise with them getting nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility he goes to Pittsburgh. We'll just have to wait and see. Let dominoes fall.
Hmm.
But moving on to the divisional round recap, what game you guys want to start with?
Detroit.
All right, sure. We'll start with Detroit. Mr. Gio, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts, very happy with the win. I mean, I am sorry for Baker and that Bucks team that fought so hard where everyone was doubting them the entire year to win the wild card round, then to go into the divisional round, in Detroit, a very tough place to play at, especially if you're away. I mean, they fought hard. Detroit's just a better team, let's be honest. You
Yeah.
know, we all know who's the better coach. We all know who's the better quarterback. Jared Goff's the top 10 quarterback. I don't think anyone can doubt me at this point. And then Amar St. Brown, and it's just a solid team and that defense too. It's getting better every single game.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's definitely a great team. Jared Goff has proven the haters wrong. I don't know if I'm ready to put him top 10 yet, but if he does get to the Super Bowl and potentially win it, maybe I'd be ready, but I got to see him do that first. Um, but yeah, credit to Baker and the Bucks. I mean, they overachieved, even though they fell short of their ultimate goal, which everyone's goal is a Super Bowl. I mean, they still overachieved. No one expected them to make the playoffs, let alone get past the first round. So
Right.
credit to Baker. And yeah, Detroit, they're gonna give San Fran some problems, especially if San Fran doesn't have Deebo Samuel and if they play as bad as they did against the Packers.
for sure.
Baker got himself a
He did though. He did.
um. So it was a good season for them. Detroit, never mind. Gotta say that. Jared Goff's a good quarterback. He deserves to be a starter in this league. Um, yeah, it was a good game by the Lions.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the other NFC game, the San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers. Packers put up more of a fight than I thought they would. So, what's your guys' thoughts on that game?
San Fran looks very beatable. Debo is a necessity to that team,
Mhm.
but also Brock Purdy's a top five quarterback. That's what I saw.
No.
How is he a top five quarterback when he played like that?
Yeah, he did not, bro. That's a bottom tier defense, and he played terrible.
Hey, all that matters is that the game-winning CMC touchdown.
Yeah,
First,
he CMC scored it, not Purdy.
listen, you didn't see what I saw. The tight end on that play tried to run a motion. Brock Purdy said, "Hey, no," and handed that ball out in the most perfect little basket. He handed it in. He practically scored that touchdown for McCaffrey with that
Oh
handoff.
my gosh, bro. Here we go.
And if you want to say anything, I mean, we got to put a lot of blame on this defense as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, the
mean,
Green
it's
Bay Packers, their offense is good. They got a great young core going ahead for them. But to have Green Bay score 21 points on you and you're supposed to be the best defense in the league,
yeah,
I don't
that's what
think
I was
that's
gonna.
acceptable at all.
I agree. I mean, I expected a lot more from that defense. I expected them to not shut out the Packers, but at least hold them to 7-14. I did not expect the
Right.
Packers to be in the game like at all. And I agree with say that the 49ers look very beatable. If there's no Debo, Brock Purdy looks a lot different than he usually does. And that's going to hurt them against the Detroit Lions because he's 50-50 right now. And if San Fran doesn't have him, I might have to lean towards Detroit for that reason.
I mean, I'm sorry. I was about to say I'm leaning towards Detroit no matter what. I really believed in this team, and I do not believe in Brock Purdy. And I've been known to be apparently a Brock Purdy hater, right? But I mean, yeah, Detroit's got to me a better coach. Like Say said, San Fran's just a system team, and Brock Purdy fits that system. I think Detroit Lions offense is better than Green Bay's. And if Green Bay can score 21 points, imagine what Detroit can do. And then you look at Detroit's defense too, the grittiness in that defense. I guarantee you Brock Purdy's not scoring 21.
Yeah, I mean, I was leaning towards San Fran just because I think San Fran's defense has a bounce back performance personally.
I
I
was,
mean, sorry.
oh,
I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, you can say that, but what shows you that they can have a bounce back performance?
Just what they did all season prior to the first round, obviously, or divisional round.
All right.
I was gonna say, I'm leaning towards, I was leaning towards Detroit, but when I can't go against the number two quarterback in the entire league,
How is he number two?
so I gotta go Brock Purdy. If Tua was still in here, I would say he has a good chance of losing the vote. But he's the best remaining quarterback behind Tua, or the best remaining quarterback. So I can't count him out. I have San Fran, even without Debo.
I am starting to agree with Gio that Brock Purdy is a system quarterback and he is mediocre.
There's nothing wrong with being a system quarterback. Tom Brady was too, and he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but he's not Tom Brady's level. He's like Jimmy Garoppolo's level.
He's way better than Tom Brady ever was.
No, 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 no,
Oh
no,
my
no, 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 no,
gosh.
no, no. Don't. Yes. Do not say Tom Brady. You can say he's a system quarterback, but don't put him in the same breath as Brock Purdy. Tom Brady
Pretty good.
elevated his receiving core's play every game because of how great he was. Do you see Brock Purdy doing that? No, he's got what, 4 Pro Bowlers with him? And
Brock Purdy's
Debo,
better than good.
CMC, Kittle, Ayuk?
And he elevates their game. He
No,
makes
he does not. They
No,
elevate his
it's
game.
it's it's the opposite. Yeah, exactly. They elevate him. They make him look good. And that showed when Debo went out. What happened to Purdy? He dropped.
it's because the system had to change.
Oh my gosh, bro. All right, moving on to the AFC. Um, yeah, bye-bye Bills. Let's start there. I know Mr. Dolphins is happy over there, so let's hear his thoughts.
Big time. Um, it was a good game.
Very
Very
good
high.
game.
I'm grateful Tyler Bass missed that field goal. Um, him missing that field goal shows how terrible Bills fans are too.
Yeah, I mean the fact he had to delete all Instagram because of all social medias because of harassment and death threats. Come on, man.
It's awful. Um, Patty Mahomes found a way to get it done, as he often does. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy
Yeah.
that bro.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't hate the Bills. I just hate their fans. They're the worst fans in the league, arguably. So definitely happy they're gone. But yeah, these matchups are always a classic. I always want to see this matchup in the playoffs for that reason. It always is for like it's always going to be great football, and that was the case again. They always go back and forth. Mahomes scores, then Josh Allen comes down and scores. It's just to me, Andy Reid is the way better coach than Sean McDermott, and that continues to show every time they meet up. And that's why Mahomes is like 6-0 or whatever he is against Josh Allen.
And I also believe Josh Allen's just not a good quarterback. If
Whoa.
Buffalo wants anything, they gotta get rid of Josh.
All right, let's not go there. But Mahomes is better than Josh Allen. Yes, we can also say that.
Everyone's better than Josh Allen. Even
Oh
Jared
my.
Goff.
Okay, now you're putting disrespect on Jared Goff.
I said he's better than Josh Allen.
Yeah, but you know who you have ahead of him?
Brock Purdy. That's what
Right, and that's a problem. Now that's a problem.
But yeah, I mean, Mahomes is just, as I said, he's the LeBron of the NFL when it comes to playoffs. He'll find a way to get it done, whether he has to do it himself or he'll just he'll just do it himself if he needs to, and that's what he's been doing this entire playoff so far. And he has his biggest test coming up against the Ravens, so we'll see if he can continue to do it.
Yes, sir.
Gio, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I feel bad for Josh Allen. I don't think he played a terrible game
No, he didn't.
whatsoever. He
He put
had he put them on his back,
Yeah,
honestly. Let's just be honest. He put the Bills on his back. He went 160 yards, 186 yards, 1 TD. Then he had 12 carries, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He literally put the Buffalo Bills on his back. Now, if you look at, what happened to Stephon Diggs, right?
yeah.
He was no show.
I was about to say, to me, their loss falls on Stephon Diggs. And I think that would be their best move this offseason is offloading him because he seems like a cancer.
And I don't think he wants to play there. He's linked himself multiple times being unhappy with the organization, wanting to leave, and now, like you said, he's a cancer and he's probably bad for the locker room as it is.
Exactly. And I mean, you see him throw these tantrums on the sideline like AJ Brown does for the Eagles. And where
Right.
are both their teams sitting? At home now. I don't think it's a coincidence.
No, and then you also look at what Detroit's doing. Detroit, there's no one unhappy. Everyone's fighting for each other. You look at San Fran, everyone's fighting for each other. You look at, the Ravens, everyone's in sync, everyone's, a team. Now you look at Kansas City, everyone's a team, even though they're not the best star players, except for the best 2 players in the game, right?
Right.
Everyone else is the best star players. And then you look at, Buffalo sitting at home, like you said, Eagles sitting at home. It's just because they're not in sync. They're not playing like a team.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like that also ties back to coaching too. Like the coaches have to tell them to, keep their ego in check.
Yeah, and I do believe that goes for Buffalo. Coaches need to, be leaders themselves, and I really think they're pretty quiet out in Buffalo. Going to Kansas City though, you gotta give all the credit to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
I mean,
And
they surpassed Brady and Gronk for most uh touchdown passes and catches in the postseason.
right, and that's insane just to even just to even think about. But then you have that Kansas City defense, which it is good and it's gotten better.
Right.
But they stopped Buffalo when they needed the stops the most.
Yeah. I mean, you could also argue that Sean McDermott made a few questionable calls, especially that fake punt.
Oh, 100%, right? And then you also look at the field goal too. I feel bad for Bass.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, it is very hard to kick in conditions like that. I will say that. But
right?
he is a professional. He should have made the kick, but he shouldn't be getting the harassment that he is getting.
No, I mean Chris Boswell would have made that kick. He's 100% in the postseason.
And then you look at, Green Bay fans with their kicker, they're not harassing their kicker for that doink he had. So it just
Yeah.
shows you the type of fans that Buffalo has compared to Green Bay.
Well, it's not even that. You look at how immature they are by throwing snowballs at Kansas City
Team
the
bus, their
entire
team
time.
bus.
Well, not even that, but in a playoff game, when they are losing, in the final couple minutes, they are chucking snowballs like they are Buddy the Elf.
And then they turn off Kansas City's hot water.
Well, it's not the fan base. That's the organization itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That is the
saying.
Bills
Like
organization. Yeah, the
that's what
fans
I'm
can be
but that's what I'm
can
saying.
yeah.
The organization fuels the fans, I feel like. They're just as toxic.
So I would say this. I would say the fan base itself is terrible. I think it's two separate, things going on. Because you could say, Cowboys fans are terrible. You can say that Eagles fans are terrible, but their organization, they're solid, right? For the most
Mhm.
part, both of them. You
Yeah.
look at Buffalo, I think the fans are a separate occasion where they had snow, they were angry, so they threw the snowballs. The Bills organization itself, that's where the problem is. That's why they lost. Is because, like you said, they're toxic. You got cancer in the locker room, you got all these issues, and it starts with the front office, and they turn off the water. That's terrible. You can't be turning off the hot water like that. They should be fined. Some repercussions should happen to the Buffalo Bills because that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. You just take the L and move on. Stop being a sore loser. That's the only way you can put it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the game though, it's insane that Kelsey and Mahomes both surpassed Brady and Gronk. As Gio said, that's a credit to themselves being combined with those two goats themselves.
Buffalo's just bad. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
He just wants to come to Miami. He told Tua that he was like, Tua, you're the best quarterback in the league. Let me come to Miami. Tua said, we'll see what we can do, Stephon. You know what I'm saying?
nah, I'm hearing he said he wants to come reunite with his brother in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, a toxic organization for a toxic player, makes sense.
Hey, yeah, Jerry is toxic. I won't deny that.
Um, but if you want to
But
move on
yeah, I was gonna say,
to the best
that
quarterback in the NFL
yeah,
right now.
right
Derek,
now, yeah. Oh, no, no. Brock Purdy is like bottom of the list. This guy's actually the top of the
close.
list. He's gonna be three-time MVP or should be three-time MVP.
Ooh,
And he showed how hungry he was against this
sir.
Houston Texans team. So what are you guys' thoughts on this Ravens Texans game?
It was a big upset to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Huh?
Bro, what?
I think everyone in the nation thought Houston was gonna get it done,
No.
but the Ravens really stepped up. I was surprised by their defense. Lamar shocked me with how good he played, and the Ravens got it done. You know, but CJ's coming back for revenge next year.
CJ will be back for revenge. That's facts. But I wasn't surprised. I expected the Ravens to win. I didn't expect them to blow them out. I was surprised it was a blowout. At first, it was looking like it was going to be a tight game, but after that punt return touchdown, the Ravens just took over the game. Lamar took over. He did his thing, both rushing and throwing, and it proved to me that he is very hungry for a ring, and he doesn't care what it's going to take. He's going to do whatever it takes in order to get to the Super Bowl and give himself a chance at a ring.
Yeah,
But I will say credit to the Texans for this season. Everyone counted them out, and
Mhm.
CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans put them on the map once again
he's top five.
as a top five rookie. Yeah, sure.
Top five in the league. I would say he's top three behind Tua and Purdy.
Wow, you
Oh
gotta
my
be
gosh, bro. You
clinically. You need clinical help. Let me just say that.
Listen. I know what you're gonna say. Lamar is a top five quarterback. Patty Mahomes top five. They're just not. They're just not.
oh, okay. All right. All right, Gio. Go give me your thoughts.
So, like you said, Lamar Jackson, and we said this in the previous one, he needs to win now. He said, I've got to get a championship now when, asked about, needing a Super Bowl. And he showed that in this game where it was tied 10-10 going into halftime, screaming at his team, being a leader, telling them what the objective is during the halftime. I don't know what he said personally, but he got them motivated enough where Houston didn't score again. That prolific offense did not score one time in the second half. They went ahead and put 24 points on the board, Baltimore did. Lamar Jackson had 152 yards, two TDs. He had, 11 carries, 100 yards, two TDs. I mean, he is doing everything he can. And yes, Jake's favorite, receiver, Zay Flowers, he was putting up his numbers too. But when you look at Lamar Jackson and the way he plays the game, I personally did not think you could win in the playoffs like that. I didn't think you could be a run first quarterback. Now he's passing first. I like it. And then he's running using his leg, if he needs to. But man, it is very scary because he's got, his game is clicking right now. He's winning. And all I can say is, man, it's just box office. Every time he hits that field, something special is going to go down.
I think something you touched on was like his game clicking. I think it's clicking both in the pass and the run,
Right.
which is massive right now. And then the way
Right.
he's able to connect to his team in terms of getting them refocused at halftime, I think that's a big factor in terms of his leadership and the team's motivation. Um, I think there's a scary team going on, but I would take them over the Chiefs. I'm not gonna lie.
You're going to take them over the Chiefs?
Yeah,
See, this is my problem. Patrick Mahomes. How can I bet against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, knowing they've got two Super Bowls? He went to 6 times in a row the AFC, conference championship. How can I bet against these guys?
how many rings does Mahomes have without Tyreek?
He's got one.
I'm just not.
He won last year. What are you talking about? He won last year. But imagine this. Patrick Mahomes, we talked about this in the last one. But Patrick Mahomes had to beat you guys, had to beat the Bills, and then have to beat, if they beat Baltimore, then they go up against Detroit or San Fran. So is this one of the hardest playoff runs we have ever seen in the NFL? If they go ahead and do this.
I think they had a second round bye.
I mean, you can say that in a way, but Buffalo is still a competitive team. They're still, always talked about as being contenders.
How can you say that when Buffalo put up more of a fight than Miami?
It was the reffing.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Everybody is saying the refs helped Mahomes. I didn't see a questionable call in that entire game.
No,
No, I thought
no.
it was pretty fair too.
I think they were helping the Bills to make it competitive.
Oh my gosh, bro.
That fumble
How?
with the end zone. I didn't see a fumble.
Okay. The ball was moving, let's be honest.
I didn't see that.
Mm,
Well, Get some new prescriptions over there, sir.
I thought he was in the end zone, honestly. I thought he scored.
But
But even
are you
then,
saying were you saying when I was gone, were you saying Tyreek is more important than Mahomes or something?
no,
By
he's
far. Always. Mahomes needs Tyreek.
No, he does
Without
not. Mahomes
he's
does
no
not need
longer
Tyreek,
Mahomes.
and he's proving that last year when he won the Super Bowl, and this year when he's in the AFC Championship, and Tyreek's at home. And who sent him home? Mahomes.
that's right.
Mahomes needs Reek.
No, he does not, bro. If he wins this Super Bowl without Tyreek, Tyreek needs Mahomes.
Oh no, sir. 'Cause Reek's about to win four more.
Oh my
No,
gosh, bro. He's not winning more than one with Tua.
He's winning at least 5-6.
you can't tell me that Patrick Mahomes is a more complete quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa.
He's not.
Oh, so you're saying you can tell me that?
Okay.
What? Tua
But
has
yeah,
more far more complete and better quarterback.
no, no, no. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. There's no question about it.
I'd give him like fifth.
Oh my gosh, bro.
There's no one near Patrick Mahomes. He is by himself in a category. By
Tua,
Say
himself.
I think you
Tua,
might.
Purdy, CJ.
No,
Money,
sir.
then Cat.
I think you might still be hungover from last Thursday when you missed the podcast because like these takes are a little out of character, even for
They are
you.
out of pocket. That's what they are. They are out of pocket.
So
Listen, listen. He can be happy with fifth, right behind Money Mitch.
My
no, no, oh my God,
Money
bro.
Mitch. You know
You
what that
need
brother's gonna do? He's gonna go play for the USFL or whatever it's
he's
called
gonna go
now.
play for the for the he's gonna be the MVP again. Nickelodeon most valuable player once again.
He needs another chance, and then he's gonna be like Tom Brady almost.
Okay. But yeah, going to the Ravens, they are dominating right now, and I think I'm leaning towards them against the Chiefs, to be honest.
And see that was our discussion. How can you bet against Patrick Mahomes?
I
I
just
think
think I just think Lamar's more hungrier, in my opinion, and that this is the toughest defense the Chiefs have played all season.
I was about to say that. I mean, I think it all depends on what the Chiefs defense do, right? I think
Yeah,
Patrick and Travis, they're going to do their thing. Obviously, Lamar and his offense is going to do their thing. The defense for the for the Ravens, they're solid. It all depends on what Kansas City's defense shows up.
for sure. But speaking of that, let's just get into the
You got one more.
predictions. Oh, what's up?
You got one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
you said we were about to get into predictions.
If you want to, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just gonna talk about how I think it's the factor is going to be slowing down Lamar, and he's clicking both passing and running.
Yep.
So I think the Chiefs defense has a lot on their hands.
Yeah.
Will end up being too much.
Hmm.
So going into the predictions, you think the Ravens are going to win?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with you there, just solely because this is Lamar's best defense he's had in a long time. And he's done his part in the past, except against the Titans, like last year. But in the past, he has done his part in the playoffs, and his defense wasn't able to step up. But I think his defense this year will be able to step up and be able to get him over that hump into the Super Bowl.
I just think he's better than Patty Mahomes too.
Woo. That's hot take right there.
I mean, the way he's playing right now, he might be, but
He,
overall,
he's
no.
not. He's not better than Patrick Mahomes. The thing is, he's got to get himself a Super Bowl, maybe one more, or conference championship appearance, another one,
Mhm.
and then we can have that conversation. But I would say
Agreed.
yes, his game right now, but accomplishment wise, he's not there.
Yeah, but I also agree with Saya that the Chiefs defense, this is their toughest quarterback they've played all year, and I don't think they'll be up for the task, personally.
I mean, we'll see. They had to play against Joe Burrow last year, and look what
That
they
is
did.
Oh,
that's true, but like I don't know, man. The way the Ravens are playing, bro, I just think this is the best Ravens team I've seen in a while.
we
I
watched.
mean,
Sorry. We watched the Raven or the Chiefs defense go against Walmart Lamar, and who
whoa,
now wants to be
we said.
struggled. So I think there's only one team that could like take him up.
So so if you're saying Walmart, Lamar, what is Lamar?
Lamar's like Gucci. Gucci Lamar.
Gucci. All right, I like that. But moving on to San Fran.
So before we got cut off, we're talking about the AFC Championship. I'm going to assume that Gio, based off what he was saying about Patrick Mahomes, is going to pick the Chiefs. Is that correct?
I think I do because I had them going to the Super Bowl, so I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
All right, that's fair. You got to stick with the prediction. I dig it. That's why I'm sticking with the Ravens too. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir.
But moving on to the 49ers lines, I already said I'm leaning towards San Francisco. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I just think San Fran is more experienced in these type of games than Detroit, and that will lean them in their favor.
For me, I'm also leaning towards San Fran. Uh, I think they have the best quarterbacks still in it right now. So it would be irresponsible not to pick it for me. Gio, what you think?
Oh, so first game for Detroit to be on the road, so that's going to be tough for them. I think they can get it done just because we saw Green Bay go on the road against them, in San Fran, put up a great fight. I think Detroit's a better team. Yes, 49ers can have a bounce back game where their defense plays better, but I expect, Detroit to pretty much create a level playing field because Green Bay's offense was uh, worse than Detroit's. I do think even if San Fran's level of play increases, it really levels out the playing field because the Lions' offense is better than Green Bay's, if that makes sense. So I do think that the Lions will have a chance and have a better chance than any other squad to go into, San Fran and win. And I think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be Lions, Chiefs, Super Bowl, where hopefully Patrick Mahomes goes back to back. Or
No,
honestly, I would honestly let's just have the Lions win. Honestly, I'm gonna make a little adjustment. Little come on, 30 years, Lions go in. Come on.
it would be sick. Michigan winning the championship and then winning the Super
Nope,
Bowl. Oh
don't be
man.
saying that.
Oh yeah, I know you were not you Ohio State over there, but it would be sick for that city, is what I'm saying.
It would be sick for the state, yeah, for sure.
But I'm just saying my Super Bowl prediction of Ravens 49ers are looking good right now.
I mean, I think the NFL's script agrees with you too. So
Yeah, we'll see what happens though. It's gonna be two very good games. I expect two shootouts and can't wait to watch.
who'd you have? Who'd you have in the Super Bowl?
49ers Ravens.
So y'all going by the script, eh?
I am. I don't know what say it had Miami and someone.
Yeah, but now he said he had Baltimore winning and he's got San Fran because apparently best quarterback still alive.
Right, right. Yeah.
Going
We're
by the
going by the
script.
script.
I
But
think
go ahead, Sam.
Purdy Magic's too much. You know,
Yeah, okay. Moving on to the NBA and that standpoint. Very big breaking news today. The second seed in the East, Milwaukee Bucks, did fire their head coach, Adrian Griffin. Shocking news. I think to me, it's because Giannis is frustrated. I think that's got to be the one main reason they let him go. What are you guys' thoughts on why they decided to pull the plug now, this early in his tenure?
I honestly don't know. Um, like you said, Giannis, I feel like that's the only reason they would, unless he was just like doing some real shady stuff behind the scenes. But even then, I think at that point you gotta be like, listen, Giannis, you gotta chill out a little bit, bro. Like, who we gonna find better?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, Doc Rivers is their main candidate, but like Griffin had you second in the East, so he wasn't doing a terrible job. Like, I don't understand.
They heard Miami news and they were like, we gotta change something.
Uh, Gio, what's your thoughts on it?
You just saw the entire year. Yeah, they were second, but really were they playing Milwaukee basketball? I personally
Man,
didn't think so, the way they were playing.
I don't think
Uh,
they'll ever play Milwaukee basketball without Bud, though. That's the thing. I think Bud
Yeah,
made that
but
offense.
he did. Well, Milwaukee basketball goes through Giannis. It just was not gelling. It wasn't gritty like we've seen, right? Giannis is a hard player to really just, put everything out there like a Russell Westbrook, gives you 100% every single night. When you look at that, you didn't really get that. As stated now, apparently he did not have a voice. He rarely spoke. He didn't really have a voice with the team. I think that plays a huge part in it. And not just that. And when I say Milwaukee basketball, you look at this defense, right? And it's, I would say, 100 times worse than last year.
I mean, I
That
think they
makes
just,
sense.
I think if I remember correctly, last night they let the Detroit Pistons score 135 points.
Right. And I think, what are they, the 27th defense in the league right now? Something like that.
It's something terrible. Yeah.
And you just can't have that if you want to win a championship. So I like their move right now, especially so early on, because if you went from top defense in the league last year to 27th, there's a problem. And I don't think it's just adding Damian Lillard. You have a great squad to begin with Brook Lopez, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and a couple other great defensive pieces, Bobby Portis, and you shouldn't have, went down that far just because you added Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the main reason, but I also think it's just Giannis has voiced his frustrations and he probably had enough.
Right.
But to me, it's just I don't understand I don't understand the Lakers just sitting there and be like, oh yeah, we're ninth in the West, we're gonna keep Darvin Ham. Like I don't understand how they can do that now that Adrian Griffin is fired, but they will do it. But I just don't know how they still back Darvin Ham.
They're gonna do that because LeBron's happy. He's content with who they have.
I don't think he's happy with the coach personally, based off the way he plays when I watch him play.
I think he's content because I feel like in a way he's still able to lead. Who's out there in the market right now that would be better fit?
The only person I could think of is Doc Rivers, but that's it.
And even then, that's questionable. If you bring in Doc, yeah, he loves LeBron. He knows LeBron. He knows his playing style and what works. It's just he's let's be honest, he choked the last couple of playoff series. He's
Right.
coached.
Yeah.
He's 3-1 leads the last couple of years. And yeah, he can get those leads, but he can never finish.
Right.
And that does have to deal with the players and execution. But honestly, man, like you couple years going 3-1 and you still can't land, a win. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Not his fault though.
I wouldn't say it's fully on his fault, but still, I think there has to be something where it's his fault, right? Some blame.
I mean, if you're a good coach, you'll close the series out.
In theory, especially when you have an MVP. But what happens when that MVP turns into Bismack Biyombo during the
What
playoffs?
happens when you had two MVPs on your team? When you have James Harden and Joel Embiid
Okay, J
and
James
Tobias
Harden.
Harris?
James Harden didn't play like an MVP at Philly. We can just go ahead and say that. He played like an off-brand James Harden.
He played like D'Lo.
He played he
He
played
did
like
play.
D'Lo. Um, but if but if you look at it now, I'm just saying, look at Tyrese Maxey. Look how he's playing. Look how Tobias Harris is playing. Look at the 76ers as a whole now without James Harden.
Yeah, exactly. James Harden was the issue. We saw that coming.
So really, should you have moved on from James Harden first, or should you have moved on from Doc Rivers?
Most likely James Harden, but I think they got sick of Doc blowing leads, like you said as well.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. Maybe Doc gets some revenge at Milwaukee when they face off in the playoffs if he does get that coaching job.
It'd be pretty crazy if he goes to Milwaukee. I would love you guys to get him too, just so that he can get a championship with the Celtics and with the Lakers.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But Genie's already came out and backed Darvin Ham, so can't do that.
Yep.
But Mr. Miami is always happy over there. They got offloaded old head Kyle Lowry for Terry Rozier, 27-year-old Terry Rozier, averaging 24 and 7, and all it took was Kyle Lowry and a lottery protected 2027 first round pick. So to me, it just means that the Hornets are ready to blow things up outside of LaMelo Ball, which I feel bad for LaMelo, but this is a great move for Miami. So let's hear the Heat fan.
Finally. Finally. You feel me?
I know, bro. You've been hating Kyle Lowry forever.
It like, bro, he came in. He was supposed to be like this point guard, supposed to help us out. He came off the championship with Kawhi. Jimmy's better than Kawhi, and then Lowry just sucked. He's terrible. He's absolutely awful. Like
Yeah, I think it must have been Toronto's system. Like that's got to be the case.
he came in as soon as I saw him play for the first time. I was like, get this guy out of my organization, bro.
That's crazy.
And
Bro, go ahead.
uh,
No, I was gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
having Terry there is going to help our offense as well.
Yeah, I mean he's averaging 24 and 7 as a second option.
He's a guy that's going to stand there, help Tyler actually get points, get buckets. He's going to relieve some stress off Jimmy and Bamsey. They're going to be clicking a lot more. And then Rozier, I think he's going to be a better defender than Lowry was. Lowry
Oh,
was overrated.
much better defender.
I think it's scary now for the NBA.
I agree. I mean, this was a great move by the Heat. They barely had to get rid of anything. They just had to get rid of Kyle Lowry. They pretty much robbed the Hornets, but that's because the Hornets are ready to rebuild. So it was a good move for both sides. And do you want Terry as a point guard or do you want Hero to remain point guard?
Ty.
You do? How come?
I think Ty's already like in our system. He knows what's happening, and I think Ty, as much of a bucket getter as he is, I think he has more of a passer instinct than Terry Rozier does. I think Terry Rozier is more of a black hole offensively, where if he gets the ball, he's going to chuck it.
Yeah.
So I think Ty would be the better option.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think honestly, Terry's prime position is shooting guard, and he's been showing that at the Hornets. But yeah, it's very scary. I mean, Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, Bam, Tyler Hero, like this roster has potential to make a deep playoff run as they do every year.
Hey, Love, know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Love's still in the league. I forgot about that.
How can you forget about a champion and Kevin Love?
Bro, he barely plays over there anymore.
Listen, he's the best passing big man I've ever seen in my life.
Bro, those dots he throws from full court, bro should have just been a quarterback, man.
Like Jokic has a run for his money on the best passing big man.
He does, man. Just got to get Kevin Love more minutes, and you'll see.
Right.
But
Uh,
Gio, what's your thoughts on the trade?
First off, I just want to say I think Jokic is still the best passer, big man. You know, just the things he does in
Bro,
the
I mean,
half court side of it.
he's still the best center in the league, even if Joel dropped 70 last night. That's just my opinion.
Not, I'm just saying passing wise. I'm not trying to create a whole
No,
debate over
I
here.
know. I was just saying, I've heard people say that Embiid's the best in the league, and I'm not ready to do that.
Embiid's only got an MVP because they didn't want to give another one to Jokic.
And to me, bro, had his points come off free throws. 23 free throws for 70 points. Come on.
When you first, and I'm just gonna say this quick. When you look at what JoJo is doing now,
He is dominating. I'll give you that for sure.
it's phenomenal. We haven't seen a big man dominate like this.
But
Domination, right?
I just don't like the way he plays personally. I think he forces himself to the free throw line, and that's where a majority of his points come from, like a James Harden, and that's why it didn't work out over there.
You can tell how much he relies on free throws when it comes to playoff times, and they let them play a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
James Harden disappears because he can't get 25 free throws a game.
And Embiid scores 10 points because he's not getting the line 20 times. But
I'm just kidding.
I'm not trying to, he's playing great. He's going to be the MVP most likely again because of what he's been doing. He's
Right.
dominating, but I just I just think that they should put a little more emphasis on how many times he gets to the line rather than, his stat line.
Yeah, you can say that. But I just want to go back to the trade now. since we got a whole rest of the half the season to go, look
That's
forward
true.
to.
Yep.
And when that happens, then we can have all of our discussions on who's the best in the league.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Donovan Mitchell, honestly. Like what he's doing with the Cavaliers, bringing them to the 4 seed right after going to France. But anyways, we'll move on from that.
Hey, you can see D'Angelo Russell right now with this 5 game skid, but
He said 5 games. Yeah, okay. 5 games. I'll take. He said a 5 game stretch. Who's the best 5 game stretch man in the world right now? All right.
Where's he been?
all right. So, Gio, what's your thoughts on the Rozier trade?
I love it. The Miami Heat needed shooters. They needed
100%.
speed. They needed
I
a
mean,
guard that can help them.
for sure. I mean, Lowry was supposed to be a shooter, but what he shoot like 30% from deep, say?
He was terrible. Absolutely awful.
Terrible. Just straight trash. That's what his thought process is. I don't care about the numbers. It was just terrible. I don't even want to think about that.
Like every time he played the Lakers and I saw him at the top of the key shoot a three, I was like, rebound.
I
But
would rather have had Kevin Love play the point guard than Kyle Lowry, from being
I
honest.
mean, to be honest, bro, I'm just happy Kyle Lowry ended up going to the Heat over the Lakers because the Lakers were really wanting him, and we dodged a bullet with that.
Big time.
I'm just saying, you lose Max Drews, right?
Right?
You
Yeah.
lose um
Who else? Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent, right? You lose all those guys. Gabe was a great, fast player, fast paced, player, led the team. And then you also got Strus, who was just a straight up shooter. Now you
Mhm.
combine those two together and you get yourself Terry Rozier. And
Right.
in my opinion, I think this is going to work out a lot better for them because I do believe he is more efficient and he's box office, he's, game time ready. He can carry a team on his back for one game if he needs to.
Oh, I agree. I mean, he showed it when LaMelo was out with that ankle injury. He carried the Hornets. They didn't win games, but he was putting up stats like a bona fide star should.
And then you also look back when he was in Boston too. Look
Right.
when he was in the playoffs with Boston, he carried that team a little bit. So now you look with Miami Heat, who's looking forward to another playoff run. Right, they're the 6 seed right now, looking forward to make another big push in the second half of the season. I think they can get higher in the standings. I also think that Terry Rozier going into the playoffs is going to be a huge help for them offensively, and I think that if they can reach the finals again, who shot well in the finals last year for the Miami Heat? I don't think anyone did. And that's no discredit to the team or whatnot. But when you add Terry Rozier, that can open up a lot of things for you offensively.
For sure. And I think Rozier's going to go back to that role he was at Boston with primarily defender and then the hustle plays. He's not going to score as much as he did at Charlotte because he won't need to, but he will score when needed.
Right.
But mainly he's going to be a defender and hustle player, in my opinion.
100%.
He's going to be a great addition, especially when we hold in that championship.
One of these days, say his predictions will come true. We'll see what day that is.
I mean, he's got 2 chances every single year, and he always messes up.
He always picks both, and they both. I mean, Miami always gets so close, and then just let
Yeah,
him
just
down,
the
man.
city of Miami, man.
The Heat always get so close, and then the Dolphins just lose first round, and he loses all his hope.
Until next year. Until this,
Until next
until
year.
this year.
But yeah, Gio, you wanted to talk about Embiid dropping 70 and Cat 62.
Yeah, we kind of talked about Embiid, and how he had 24 free throws.
I mean, he still dominated though. He was playing as a top two big man should.
Yeah, and I think the motivation there was he's playing against Victor Wembanyama. You see his reaction when he walked next to him and
I think I think the motivation was what Popovich said before the game, is that we're gonna hammer Embiid.
right. And so
And Embiid saw that, and in the words of Michael Jordan, he took that personally.
yeah, but you look at it, I really think it was more Victor Wembanyama.
For me personally, I think it was more the quote, because if I was in his shoes and I saw that quote, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna hammer you.
Especially when they put Victor Wembanyama on it.
Right.
Exactly. Like, bro, if I'm
Well,
Embiid and I see a skinny twig in front of me, I'm going at him every time.
yep.
I mean that's what that's what you're supposed to do as Victor Wembanyama, or I mean as Joel Embiid. And I think that's in my case. I think that's why it was Victor Wembanyama who made the biggest difference. He wanted to show that I don't care how great people think you are. I'm still the
I'm
best player in
better.
the league right now.
Right. And he
That's
proved that. I mean, 70 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. First NBA player to do that I think, in history. So he
Yeah.
proved his point.
you see some big, long, skinny thing, you're like, I gotta attack it. You know what I'm saying?
So when you look at Karl Anthony Towns' game, yeah, he got 62 points. They
But he
lost the
also,
game.
all that matters is they got the L. And yeah, Anthony Edwards didn't play as well as he should have. But to me, it's more on Cat because he tried to do too much at the end, and that's why they lost, in my opinion.
He only had 4 points in the fourth quarter.
I mean, Karl Anthony Towns can score all he wants, but he's not a winning player.
He's missing
So
Jimmy Butler.
And I don't think, as long as the Timberwolves have Karl Anthony Towns, I don't think they'll be championship contenders, no matter how good Anthony Edwards plays. Because I don't think Cat has that mentality to win a championship.
He's too like self-centered in terms of getting his own stat line rather than
Right. Like he was so happy he had 58, so he started chucking shots in the fourth, and guess what happens? They come back and you lose.
that's
but go ahead.
all you do. You
I was
know,
just gonna say credit to the coach, right? I really believe like he said it right. That was a atrocity, right?
Yeah.
Terrible what they did, and I think that goes on to him too. And I think he knows that
Mhm.
where if he made adjustments in the fourth quarter, called a timeout, whatever the case may be, and told his team slow it down. We're up by 20. Let's get good shots. Let's get good quality, shots. Let's get stops here and there. Let's win this game. He didn't really do that, I believe. And I think the players didn't, really think they were going to lose that game anyways. They're being up by 20 and just had fun and let Cat shoot. And obviously that, uh, bit them, in the long run.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, you can't do that in the NBA no matter what team you're up against. It's still an NBA team. They're still NBA players, no matter how bad their record is. They have a chance to come back. They're going to take the chance.
Right.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate that they lost, but credit to Cat for playing as well as he did.
he's just not good. He's honestly one of the worst players I've ever seen.
Who?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Really?
He's got all the tools in the toolbox, and he decides to be like, I'm gonna just throw the toolbox over there,
I don't think he's the worst player I've ever seen. I just think he's the softest, one of the softest players I've ever seen.
which makes him one of the worst. You can't be that talented and be like, I'm content just being average.
That's true.
Do you remember when Boogie Cousins was defending Karl Anthony Towns and he was trying to put him in the paint? No, and he didn't even move him.
It's not.
That's just me, bro. I don't think they're gonna win as long as they have Cat.
They gotta just blow it up and rebuild around Ant.
I think so too. I thought they were going to this offseason, but I mean, they were first in the West. That's great, but come playoffs, I still don't believe in them.
I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. I personally believe they were going to be like the new Jazz, right? In that
Right.
statement where they're going to be the number one seed in the West, go ahead into the playoffs. People have expectations for them. Then obviously they go ahead and choke.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. And eventually, as the Jazz did, they're going to have to blow it up.
Right.
But anything else you guys want to touch on before we head to segments?
Someone's balling overseas right now. I don't know if it's Boogie.
I know
Some,
Kemba's over there.
huh?
Kemba's over there.
Kemba's overseas.
The
Yep.
Whites in Taiwan.
Bro, Dwight's one of my favorite players, bro.
Bro, he's so funny. Although he is coming out as, now.
So what does that have to do with anything?
That just came to my mind when he came. I totally forgot, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, you
But
know,
in the words of Dwight, whoever he kisses, bro, that's his choice.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, Dwight is definitely one of my favorite players, not just because of his play style, just because of how funny he is.
Who's your top five, who's your top five players to watch that aren't massive?
Aren't massive. I like watching LaMelo, to be honest, bro. He's fun to watch. I like watching Kyrie just because his finishing ability. Who else, bro? I'm trying to think.
And
G and yeah,
and
Jaw when
box office.
Jaw when he's healthy, just because of his hops.
I would have to say Dylan Brooks.
I can't stand that guy, bro. I would say Jokic, but he plays so slow, bro. I can't stand how slow he plays.
Playoff Jamal.
Yeah, playoff Jamal is fun, bro. I'm not saying this because I'm a Lakers fan, bro. It's just insane seeing what LeBron's been doing in
Oh
year
yeah, I think
21 at
everyone
39 years old,
yeah.
bro. Like, bro, that poster he had on Paul George earlier this year, I said, bro, you're 39.
But
Like,
he's not big. I'm saying like who's not like who's low key, fun to
yeah,
watch.
Like a Lou Dort. You feel me? I love watching Lou Dort.
Lou Dort is fun to watch. I mean, not offensively, but his defense, bro, puts on a clinic.
Oh, sorry.
De'Aaron Fox is fun to watch just because of how fast he is, bro.
My boy's
Jordan
MVP right now. You feel me?
Bro, Shea is balling.
It's top five.
I mean, there's no argument about that.
Jordan Poole and his shot selection and wash
Bro,
is the best thing to watch.
bro, and he just runs back like nothing happened. He's like, yeah, I shot it.
Right.
He's like, oh, it's cool being at the top of scouting reports. I'm like, bro, look at your team's record, man.
Oh,
Bro, and then Kyle Kuzma, when like the Pistons were on that losing streak, he said, man, I'd hate to be on that team. And the Wizards have lost twice to them since then.
Kate Cunningham is phenomenal, though. I ain't even gonna lie.
Bro, I felt so bad for him when they were on that losing streak and he was dropping like 45 for nothing.
He's phenomenal. You feel me?
He has to get out of Detroit, man.
He's the only thing they can hold on to, though.
Like him and Durant, I feel like are the only two pieces that they should keep. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel bad for Monty Williams. He got a lot of gray hair on his beard now.
Yo, did y'all even hear about like the Siakam trade?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That flew so under the radar to me. Like it took me like 4 days to realize he got traded.
What
Yeah,
what
we
you
talked
mentioned
about it
that.
on
What do you
the
think?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah. What are your thoughts? We talked about it on the previous pod. So what are your thoughts on it?
I don't even know what did the Raptors get for Pascal?
They got Bruce Brown and like 3 first-round picks,
So Toronto's just full rebuild now.
Yes, sir.
pretty much, because they're thinking about offloading Bruce Brown himself. Yeah.
I think that's nice for the Pacers.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Because like it could be like we were saying it could be like a better Rudy and Cat pairing defensively.
Reed's gonna love having Pascal on the team.
Because like, bro, imagine trying to go in the paint against Pascal and Miles Turner, and Miles Turner is already one of the best defending big men in the league. And now Reese got two alley-oop partners.
When we come up.
They in our eyes they could be sleepers in the East.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. They might I think they're a second round team.
And don't forget they added championship DNA to their team. Adding Pascal Siakam as a champion, they went to the in-season tournament and lost to the Lakers, right? I think experience and all that has to deal with it. But also they gained experience by playing in that in-season tournament that was like the playoffs, like the finals, where they can go head into the real, playoff series now with that experience with Pascal Siakam, I think that, helps them a lot. They can reach the conference championship.
I could see that. Do you think if they had Pascal that the in-season tournament would have went different? Like would they have been able to slow down Anthony Davis and LeBron James better
It would have
enough to
been
win?
closer. Would have
It
been
would have been
closer.
closer. I agree.
Y'all
But
would
do
have
you
still won, but it
okay.
would have been.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was no stopping mainly LeBron from getting that money just because he wanted to get the money for the money. But it would have been closer for sure.
The NBA would not have allowed the Lakers not to win that.
Okay, there it is again. He's just mad that the Heat didn't make it.
The NBA would have said, "Hey, Pascal's cool. Y'all are the better team, but we need the Lakers to win it." So I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
The Lakers have LeBron, the most marketable player in the league, and they're their biggest team in the league, and they're in LA. Y'all are in Indiana. You need this to be a success, so the Lakers have to win it.
Bro, now that you think about it, I've never seen an Indiana Pacers fan in my life.
Yes, you have.
I promise you I haven't.
I promise you have.
Who?
Liam,
Okay, yeah,
big,
that's one.
big time Pacers fan. Loved what's his face?
Oladipo, I think it was.
Monte Sabonis when he was
Oh
there.
yeah.
Victor Oladipo,
He's
old
13
school.
or 24 at the time.
That's the only Indiana Pacers fan I can remember though. Like that's it. They're just not. Maybe if they win this year, we'll see more. Because bandwagon is where it's at now.
Dude, man, I loved back in the day that Pacers squad with Ron Artest, Jalen Rose.
PG, bro. When they had PG, that was my favorite, personally.
Oh, that era too, when you had, yeah, PG, Lance Stevenson. Who else was on it? George Hill was on that squad.
Bro, Lance Stevenson blowing in LeBron will always be my favorite picture, bro. Blowing LeBron's ear.
Pre-Olympics, PG-13 was a monster too.
Bro,
I thought he was
before
better
he
than
broke his leg, bro. Before he broke his leg, he was insane, bro. Like he's getting back there now, but Indiana PG, bro, is where it's at
you couldn't stop him. He literally had the heat on the ropes
by himself.
by himself.
Like, bro, go back to 24. It must have been 24, man. It must have been the number.
I just think it was the injury that, hurt him.
Yeah, I think so too. He'll never be the same, but credit to him for working his way back to where he's at right now.
Yeah, and he was also MVP, top three MVP back when he was in OKC too. So
Yeah, that's true. That era just didn't work out.
right.
The Westbrook effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But Gio, you got a segment?
Yeah. We got tennis back. I
Okay.
didn't mention this last Thursday, but
You did
we have
not.
tennis. First week's in the books, almost there, championship weekend. I don't believe we have any more Americans left. I think Taylor Fritz was the last one last night. Lost to Djokovic, put up a good battle, but in the end of the day, he went up against the GOAT. When you have that, being on that his side, I think, it's very tough, but he's gonna get there one day. Then you got on the women's side, you got Sabalenka, who's number two ranked in the world, plays really well, should win the whole thing if it's not, or should win the whole thing. And then on the men's side, it's just really fun to watch. You got Alcaraz against Zverev, tonight, Medvedev, still in it. Djokovic is still in it, so it's very fun right now. Australian Open, we'll see who wins.
Yeah, for sure. Not much going on in the video game news, so I'm gonna take a page out of Gio's playbook and go Syracuse basketball here.
Yes, sir.
Um, right now playing Florida State up four, very close game. Cardiac cues is what they do. They make you have heart attacks,
Cardiac.
but
I like
eventually they come out with the win and then you're okay. But they just like to make you a little scared before they get you the win. But I was gonna say only college team right now undefeated at home between men's and women's is Syracuse. They are 20-0 at home, both the men's and women's team undefeated at home. And that's a credit to the fans, number one, the best fans in the country, and the atmosphere that the dome gives them. Definitely the hardest place to play in college basketball, and that's showing right now.
For music, so happy birthday to my guy, XXX. Should be 26. Long live, Jase. Um, I don't really know what came out recently, so I'm gonna just shout out Lil Durk. I've been really messing with his stuff recently, and shout out 50 too, 50 Cent.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all in the next one.
Yep. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, you can drop a like on this if you wanted to. It's very much appreciated. Um, if you agreed or disagreed with us, you can let us know in the comments. You feel me? Um, let us know like your favorite low-key player to watch. And make sure to Geo.
Hey guys, like three wise men once said, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.